And welcome back to the Maximum Lawyer Podcast. I'm Tyson Mutrix. Jim is taking a nap somewhere, I am sure. But right now, I've got one of my favorite people, Brian Mittman. What's going on, Brian?
Hey, I'd like to be taking a nap right now too.
I mentioned a nap earlier. I think that's why I said it. It's like stuck in my brain that I need a nap. So for sure. But with you though, I don't want to talk about naps. I want to talk about MaxLawCon 2021. I'm going to flip this. Usually I start with the topic. I'm going to stop and I'm going to ask people or ask you to tell people a little bit who you are and what you do.
Well, I appreciate that. My name is Brian Mittman. I am an attorney out of New York, just north of the city. But more excitingly, I am the father of 4 young adults. I play ice hockey in my spare time that I took up when I was 30, post multiple surgeries, still playing. Beer league is a lot of fun. And I just love building businesses and marketing and doing a lot of really great things. And happy to be on the podcast and happy to be part of MaxCon.
Have you ever lost a tooth?
No, because I have always worn a face shield. However, things do sometimes find their way up, the full cage anyway. So
At that level, is this still pretty aggressive? Are people like throwing shoulders and stuff?
It's I guess it's all relative. Like I'm in a 50 and older league now, which is definitely more my speed, and you could certainly see the guys that had decades of real experience. I didn't have real experience, so it could get a little rough, but it's more of a beer league, and they try to police it decently. Every once in a while there's a knucklehead.
Yeah, so whenever I play pickup basketball, I used to play on Sunday nights, and we would if anyone got aggressive, we kind of policed ourselves, but usually it wasn't that aggressive. And usually the people that would be aggressive are like new people. They'd come in, they think it was one thing. It was actually, that's not how we do that around here. So yeah, for sure. So I don't know if you mentioned the name of the firm, because I want you to make sure that we mention that, so that, because we're going to the topic right after that. So mention the name of the firm.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's Markhoff and Mittman, the disability guys. So that's really what we go by, the disability guys, because I just don't like all the names in a law firm anyway. So
yeah, I actually really like it. It's weird. Before I ever met you, I wanted to do a podcast called The Injury Guy, right? And that's what I wanted to do, and I never did it, but I kind of wish I would have it, but because now it's just Mutrix Firm Injury Lawyers Podcast. But the reason why I wanted you to mention the name of the firm is, what is the name of your title for your presentation?
Well, I am going to be the dashboard guy for the presentation, and it's going to be really all about dashboards and numbers that you need to look at. And I certainly plan on taking a deeper dive, not just kind of high level, because I think most people even listening to this today or who will be there have heard about know your numbers, dashboards. But I want to really talk about that personal experience of knowing a number and then learning that number is completely false or I completely misunderstood it, and how to peel that back and use some like real world examples for people.
So are you going to get into like what numbers people should be tracking?
Yes. Everyone is different for different reasons, but as I'm actually preparing this presentation, there's certainly a set of not necessarily numbers, but the way of looking at the numbers and looking at percentages and looking at trends in order to help you not only see how you've been doing, but how you could be doing, where you're going, and to make like better and faster business decisions. I can give you a quick example. I love this example. We used to, at one time, we were like kind of buying leads for one of our practice areas. I think it was Social Security Disability. And I also paid a guy to be going out to visit doctors, right? And we had a whole little program for that. And one day we started looking at the numbers and we broke it down and we said, okay, I'm making up this number. We spent $1,000 for all these leads and we got 5 or 10 or whatever it was. And then we looked at, hey, what are we paying the guy to do this? What's the time he's spending? How many cases did we get? It was like 5, 10 times as much. So I'm like, why am I paying for those leads? I'd rather take that money, that $1,000, give it to my field marketing person and say, you know what? Go buy a lot of donuts.
Damn straight, man. And that's absolutely
like that.
Yeah. You wouldn't know that unless you knew your numbers, right?
Right. And there's no business skills taught to us in law school. Zero. Negative, almost, right? It goes the other way. And yet we're told to look at a balance sheet, look at a profit and loss statement, speak to our accountant. And I have found, because I found it personally, is I had no idea what any of that meant. Zero. Even though I thought I did, right? And then I'm sitting there going, hey, why are we going broke? We're making money. No, we're not really making money. And that's just the beginning of really knowing your numbers. That's one piece of it.
Sorry, some food being delivered. I didn't tell them where to put it.
All good.
So I mean, I think that this is something that are going to be it's going to be really helpful for people. So I'm really excited about it. A couple more questions. First of all, if people want to reach out to you before the conference or after the conference, how do they get in touch with you?
The easiest way is there's email at bmittman, BMITTMAN, at the Disability Guys, 3 words, the Disability Guys.com. And that's the easiest way to reach out to me. I'm happy to talk about topics, anything or something of interest, because I do find the number stuff really fascinating. I spent a little bit of time in college as a mechanical engineer and ended up as political science, but it's always fascinated me because numbers are everywhere. It's in nature. It's just everywhere.
That's why I was super excited when you joined the guild, honestly, because I was like, man, this is someone, he knows his numbers, he digs into the numbers, so it's perfect. It's a great addition. So that's what I love about it. All right, last question.
Shoot.
What are you looking forward to when it comes to the conference?
To be honest, to just see people, to have those hallway conversations, a couple good drinks. I know I will have an aha moment or 10. It always happens, and I think that's really one of the best things about the upcoming event. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, one of the things I'm looking forward to is you've promised me a few stories over drinks. So
yes.
I'm looking forward to it. So there are a few that you've mentioned that I want to hear. So I can't.
Excellent.
So, all right, man. Well, I appreciate you sharing, and we'll talk to you soon. See you, bud.
Fantastic.
See you, buddy.
Take care.